The news, good evening. A new board's been appointed to run the newly renationalised Seychelles with a woman in charge for the first time. She's Nan Notzi, who's currently a senior financial manager at the Public Utilities Corporation. This afternoon, the government unveiled how it's agreed a huge debt write-down with Etihad, with more under discussion.
Inside Botanical House this afternoon, a radical revamp and debt restructuring were revealed for the national air carrier. Government officials and the airline's chief set out the future. Now Etihad Airways has divested its shares.
We've completed negotiation and received 79% discount of the total liability that we own, that Air Seychelles own to Etihad.
So 21% of Air Seychelles' liability to Etihad remains, and that'll be taken over by the Seychelles government, meaning us, the taxpayers, will start paying next year. Until now, Air Seychelles owed Etihad about $73 million. That's now been slashed to $11 million, but it still owes its bondholders some $71 million, and it wants to cut that to $20 million. Do the maths, and it means that Air Seychelles will owe about $31 million. And to cover that, the government here will have to go to the Africa-based Trade Development Bank for a loan.
Air Seychelles needs to revamp to ensure that at least we see more efficiency gains for future as well, because there's no more money in the budget.
We're not out of the woods yet. It's still a very volatile situation. But I think month after month after month, it is get better. And so what I and my team need to do is instill hope.
There's a new board, led for the first time in the airline's history by a woman. Nan Notzi, currently a finance chief at PUC, spent 2 years managing the finances at Etihad, the task to save a vital economic enabler.
Here we have a business with different parts, jobs for pilots, jobs for engineers, jobs for cabin crew, and all the knock-on effects subsidiary to the economy for that. Without an Air Seychelles, you don't have these kinds of jobs in Seychelles.
Today only provided some relief. Air Seychelles has shed a huge debt, but another big deal with bondholders must be nailed down before the financial turbulence is behind it.
There are 612 active COVID-19 cases in the country as of the Ministry of Health's last update today. 103 new cases have been recorded today. This brings the cumulative number of cases so far to 5,703. The Public Health Commissioner, Dr. Jude Gédéon, says that most of the cases are Seychellois, with about three-quarters who have either received only one dose of vaccine or who have not been vaccinated at all. The Ministry of Health has also expressed concerns about the trend of infections, with symptoms that are becoming more severe. There are 195 patients in isolation centres across the country, with 25 at the Perseverance Family Hospital. 3 of the cases there are critical. Dr. Gédéon also said that the surge in cases is a result of the Easter festivities, and he has announced that the authorities will enforce existing measures over the Labour Day weekend to mitigate the spread of the disease.
We have noticed in the past 2 days an increasing number of cases in the community, and this for us is creating certain concerns. Especially given the fact that our treatment facility is working a bit harder than before to care for the clients that we admit. This is why we have the Ministry of Health decided to introduce certain measures or call out for certain enforcement of measures to restrict certain activities. Firstly, on gatherings around Labor Day, it's very important that people do not congregate. The more you congregate, the easier it is for transmission. And there's a call for all organizations, be it private or public, to cancel all the social gathering, because we know that gathering involves removal of face masks to partake of your meals or drinks, and that creates a condition for transmission. The police will be on the lookout for anybody who are infracting all these restrictions, there'll be roadblocks, and those who are not respecting the rules will be charged. And I wish everybody a happy Labor Day at home with the family.
Seychelles has received a grant of 1.7 million rupees that will go towards the financing of 3 projects relating to the blue economy. The grant is from a European Fund for Innovative Projects, FSPI, and it was presented by the French ambassador to Seychelles, Dominique Massa. The fund has made available 10 million rupees to be used by the 5 member states of the Indian Ocean Commission for their blue economy projects. Seychelles will get 17% of that sum. It was the designated minister who is responsible for the blue economy, Jean-François Ferrari, who accepted the donation. This July 17th will be the 5th year since Seychelles has been observing the Blue Economy Day, and the Blue Economy Department is making this year a Blue Indian Ocean Year. Minister Ferrari has thanked everyone who made the grant possible and encouraged all those working on the 3 projects to make good use of the grant. Ambassador Mas intends to oversee all 3 projects until their completion.
One component is on research and development, trying to see how we can make use of the plastic garbage and transform it in fuel, in carburant or in oil. The other project will be to assess the quantity of garbage that we have from the fishing industry and how we can recycle that. And the third component will be mainly to produce some video about the use and the importance of the blue economy, and I hope that your TV will benefit from this video. And of course, besides these 3 main components, we have a big component, research component, implemented together by the French Institute for Development and the University of Seychelles, and it's about various projects related to the conservation, preservation and management of our maritime resources.
President Wavel Ramkalawan has met with 4 sports personalities who have recently shown great courage and successes in their respective disciplines. They are swimmer Félicité Passon, who last Saturday undertook a swimming challenge from La Digue to Pralin and back. He also met with Joël Mélanie, who also on Saturday on La Digue ran a half marathon for his project Run for Good Cause. President Ramkalawan met with the chairman of the Seychelles Football Federation, Elvis Chetzi, and Lucas George, the chairman of the local cycling association, who was elected on the UCI Management Committee in March. The president praised them on their achievements and asked them to keep on being good role models for future generations.
We talked a little bit about the challenge, how obviously it's not easy, it's not something just anybody does, but you know, with perseverance anything is possible, mind over matter. But also Mr. President was very supportive of my career and very supportive with Olympics coming up soon, so I'm really excited to know that I have his support as well as the people, and so yeah, just excited for Olympics now.
It was a courtesy visit. The President and I discussed my duties on CAF and how I can influence and certain decisions or make certain propositions for the benefits of Seychelles in the future.
2 of the country's most treasured examples of colonial-era architecture have been put up for sale. Bids are being invited for Kenwin House and neighbouring Mercury House, which are both national monuments. SVC News understands their private owner, Cable & Wireless, is selling them to improve the company's cash position. The 2 historic structures recently underwent refurbishment before being leased as a casino and art gallery. The buildings were constructed in the mid-19th century as luxury residences before Cable & Wireless acquired them. Potential bidders will be granted viewing opportunities next month, and the deadline for sealed bids is May the 31st. And with this, we end this news summary. Have a pleasant evening.